So for tonight's practice, we're going to be focusing quite a bit on twisting. Twisting yoga asanas in general are really helpful for the overall health and mobility of your spine. It is in fact one of the more complicated movements that we can create with the spine, if not the most complex. A lot of different muscles are really involved in the rotation of the spine. Now primarily, we're going to be using the obliques at the side of the belly, and then if you could imagine muscles webbing their way up the spinal column, these are called the multifidi. So these muscles as well help with the rotation of the spinal axis. Now key, really throughout the course of tonight's practice, is to try and get in touch with the action of the abdomen. Okay, it's fairly easy to use your arms to force yourself into a twist. By doing so, if you allow the midsection to remain very relaxed, you can actually over-twist pretty easily. Okay, this can lead to a lot of discomfort in the back, and certainly down the road this can exacerbate issues like bulging discs, fusions, anything at all dealing with the spine. So we want to be very, very thoughtful and cautious that as we do rotate tonight and as we proceed through deeper and deeper twisting postures, we stay hyper vigilant to maintain a tone through the sides of the belly and in fact really aim to feel that it is the belly and the belly alone that's going to create that movement. So for props this evening, good idea to have two blocks. There will be a number of instances that will come up through the practice where we are going to use them to help allow us to be a little more comfortable within the flow. And then a strap is always useful for your forward folds if you need, as well as some cushioning to lift the hips up in those instances as well if your hamstrings are a little tight. So we're going to begin our practice today sitting just about a quarter of the way back at the top of your mat, facing forward in a simple cross-legged seated posture. Now aim for something that's going to allow you to sit as upright as possible with the least amount of effort involved. If you feel like you're rounding back or collapsing in your lumbar spine, then go ahead and stick some cushions or pillows underneath your hips to lift you up a little bit higher. Additionally, if your hips are really tight and you're finding that your knees are rising up above your hip line, this would be another example of a place where we'd find some benefit by creating a little bit of height underneath the hips so as to release that pressure, helping us to sit more comfortable. Now that you've arrived at your comfortable seated posture, we're just going to start out with a very simple twist. So go ahead and bring your left hand over top of your right thigh. You reach your right fingertips back about 4 inches behind your right hip and in line with your hip socket. Now before you really go too far in your twist, get as tall as possible. Feel yourself stretching the crown of your head up into the heavens. Now without using your arms, on an exhale, turn your belly as far to the right as it will go. Inhale, get a little bit taller. Now with this exhale, continue turning with the belly but out on the rib cage. Use an inhale to get taller still. And now finally, add on the cervical spine, turning your gaze toward the back wall. Now with every inhalation, as you maintain your posture, feel that gentle hugging like a corset around your midsection, supporting you and almost pushing you up. On the exhales, right belly pushes back, left belly turns forward. One more exhalation, resist the action of the arms, and then return. So sit up tall, and then crossing over to the opposite side, left hand outside the right thigh. Left fingertips behind you about 4 to 5 inches, get tall as possible, and then turn only the belly. Inhale a little bit taller, exhale the ribs, and now finally, on this last exhale here, turning your gaze to the back wall. Okay, let the eyes rest somewhere on the horizon, neither looking up nor down, as either of these two options will contort the position of the spine. Instead, by keeping your eyes on the horizon, it'll help you to stay nice and neutral and continue to find that lift through your crown. 2 more exhales, turning with the belly, and with an inhale, draw back to center. Good. Rocking forward, place your palms on the mat, step back into a tabletop position with your knees directly beneath your hips, shoulders directly atop the wrists. Cat's Creek. Dropping your belly to the earth, gazing forward and up, draw the heads of the arm bones back as your heart reaches forward. Exhale now, drop the skull around your spine as you tuck your tailbone and look toward your belly button. Inhalation, move into your back bend. Fill the tops of your lungs fully. Exhaling, engage your belly quite a bit, but the solar plexus and chest as well. 3 more times. So moving with the pacing of your breath while still maintaining a very conscious connection with the earth beneath you. So squarely grounding through the palms, and just as much anchoring the knees and the thigh bones into the earth. 1 more cycle in traditional cat, eyes up, heart open on the inhale. Exhale, curling in, keep the sides of your neck and your jaw relaxed. Returning to a neutral tabletop position. Pause for a moment and then thoughtfully create just a little lift through your floating ribs, keeping the solar plexus engaged. Moving sideways. With the inhale, the spine is long and neutral. With the exhale, bring your right shoulder toward your right hip, arching to right side. Inhaling, come back to center. Exhaling, gaze over your left shoulder, arching left. Twice more, moving nice and slow. Inhale is neutral, and as you arch to the right, the left side should lengthen. Inhale, stay connected through the hands, arms straight. Left shoulder toward left hip. Right body stretches. 1 more time. Exhaling, right side, gaze over the shoulder. Inhale, stretch your tailbone back, crown forward. Exhale, left side. Neutral position. Shoulders stacking atop wrists as before. And we're going to move to a simple twist. So planting down through your left palm. Inhale, reach your right arm into the sky. Roll the right body open fully as you gaze up. Exhaling, thread your right arm underneath the body, dropping your right shoulder to the earth and potentially even your skull, letting it fall to the floor. Now plant through your 2 thigh bones equally. And imagine you could draw back through both sides of your waist as you breathe into the low back in particular here. And if your belly's doing a lot of moving and you're not feeling the breath on your back, you're really neglecting an opportunity. So tone the tummy, fill out your kidneys. 2 more exhales. Strong anchor through your left palm as you use an inhale to draw you back to table, stacking shoulders atop wrists, and then switching sides. Right hand rooted. Inhale, lift your left arm way up into the sky, stack the shoulders. Exhale, thread it underneath as you thoughtfully bring your shoulder and then your left ear toward the earth. Connection through your hips and legs helps to create the even base from which the spine is rotating. So the more you thoughtfully extend back through your 2 sitting bones, the more you may feel the opening and release just above the back rim of your hips. 2 more exhales. Anchoring with right hand, use your inhale to bring you up, tabletop position, pause on the exhale. Good. Drop the ribs into cat. Inhale, opening the heart forward, lift your gaze. Downward dog, tuck your toes, stretching back through the hips, straighten your legs. A little alternate pedaling of the legs here, bending the knees to bring a little awareness and warmth into the hamstring muscles, into the glutes at the back of the hips. Now allowing those movements to grow more and more still. As you become stationary within your dog, inhale, lift both your heels up into the sky. Rise right up into your tippy toes, drawing your sitting bones back and your heart toward your thighs. Exhale, reach down through the backs of the legs, draw the heels toward the earth. Looking forward, walk your way up to the top of the mat. Okay, big toes touching, if not simply close. Lengthen your spine part way and then melt forward. Check in with your hamstring muscles. Now as you inhale and lengthen again, halfway up, press through your feet, melting down, eliciting a deeper sensation on the back of the legs. Once more. Webbing of the toes soft as you lengthen your spine on the inhale. Press through the feet as you dive down. Bend your knees, head is heavy, arms are dangling. Rounding your spine up 1 vertebra at a time. Your eyes should be the last thing to lift. Equal standing posture. Placing your right hand on the lower belly just beneath your navel. Take your left hand to your sacrum, fingers pointing to the earth. And we're just going to manipulate the pelvis. With the right hand, push in and up. With the left hand, go straight down to drop your tailbone into the earth, decreasing the curvature of your low back. Arms falling by your sides as you start to strongly push the thighs straight back to the wall behind you. Crescent moon. Inhale, arms overhead, interlacing your first 3 fingers, extend the index fingers into the sky, and we're going to dynamically warm. Exhale, dropping over to the right side. Inhalation is going to lift you back up to center, pressing the thigh bones back. Exhale, left side. Lifting back up to neutral as you fill twice more. Arching right, push your hips left. Inhale, the feet ground as you get tall. Exhale, spine left, hips right. Once more dynamically, neutral on the inhale. Arch down just a centimeter deeper. Inhale, neutral, and then arching again, a centimeter deeper. Inhalation, come back up to tall. Drop your arms by your sides. Circle the shoulders back once, twice, 3 times, and then hands to heart center as we rise back up. Circling overhead with your inhale, interlace the first 3 fingers, and then as the elbows push straight, drop your shoulders. Thigh bones pushing back. Lower belly rising to heart as you inhale, arching to the right side. Exhale. So as you start to arch right, let the hips drift left, allowing for more space through the low back. Now the front body should continually feel as though it's lifting. Your knees and thighs, your lower belly and your heart are all moving upwards as the back body descends for 3. Arching down a little deeper on those exhales, eliciting more sensation. Last out breath, and then your inhale lifts you up to center. Exhale here. And get a little taller as you fill yourself up, and then this time over to the left side, just until the pose begins. Now, if you have the benefit of a mirror right before you, your armpits and your hips should be facing that mirror with no twisting of the upper body. Breath by breath, stretching the right as you dip down deeper for 3. Okay, the thighs are still strong and pushing back. 2. And then your inhale lifts you up to center, arms by your sides. Vinyasa, Surya Namaskar. Inhale, lift, gaze to thumbs, pull your hips back as you fold, looking toward the navel. Lengthen your spine halfway up as you fill with your breath, stepping or hopping back. Keep the elbows close as you descend, knees, chest, chin, or straight as a board. Cobra or upward facing dog, and then downward facing dog, stepping the feet about 2 inches closer to your hands. So your feet are parallel to one another, so much so that your heels should actually be hidden from view behind your ankle bones. And then better still, if we could accentuate reaching the inner thighs toward the wall you're looking at to help pull your hips away for one more exhale. At the end of that exhale, look forward. Inhaling, step or hop to the top, long, long spine. Folding in, tuck the chin toward the chest. Ride your inhalation up into the heavens. Equal standing, arms by your sides. Twice more. Push down to lift, inhale. Uttanasana, forward fold, roll the weight forward. Lengthening, step or hop your way back, keeping the hands shoulder width and those index finger knuckles planted as you lower. Inhale, the heart draws forward into your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog for 5. Meditating on your breath. 4. Listen to that soft ocean sound. 3. Let go of tension around the face, the head and neck. 2. At the end of your exhale, look forward. Inhale, step or hop to the top. Long spine once you've arrived. Dive down, roll the weight forward. Inhale, lifts you up, gaze to thumbs. Equal standing, arms by your sides. One more time. Lift it, Urdhva Hastasana. Fold, Uttanasana. Long spine, bend your knees, plant your palms, back you go. Reaching strongly through your heels so the legs work just as much as the arms. Cobra or upward dog, tuck your tailbone under. Downward facing dog, roll over the toes. Set your pose. And then not just listening to your breath, but attempting to visualize the shape it takes within the posture. Okay, this is how we start to notice asymmetries within the body or areas that are perhaps obstructed or blocked. As the breath moves, when you see there's perhaps some region that you're not quite feeling, you're not connected to any sensation, this is an opportunity. Breathe into it a little deeper, to examine it a little bit more. Last exhale. As you conclude that breath, looking forward. Up we go, step or hop to the top as you lengthen your spine out, diving down, head to knees. Ride the inhalation up to tall arms stretch to sky, arms back by your sides. Utkatasana. So be sure that your big toes are connected as they bend the knees, sit low, inhale, arms up overhead. Gazing out over the horizon. If you have difficulty with tension in the upper body, you can always interlace your first 3 fingers, which will help you to release the shoulders. So rolling the weight back into the heels as far back as we can without lifting our toes at all. The moment your toes start peeling off of the floor, you've gone a little too far. But likewise, the moment your upper body starts to drop, your hips may be a little bit too close to the earth. 2 more breaths, so smile at yourself as it becomes challenging. Get a little taller with that inhale, and then folding forward, head to knees. A little vinyasa for the hamstrings. Keep the weight forward as you lengthen. Nope, get back. Exhale, forward fold, head to knees. A long spine, inhale halfway up. Keep the toes soft and melt down. Once more, lengthening halfway, inhale. Exhale, fold. Good. Rising up with a straight spine, lift the arms to sky. Exhaling, arms by your sides. So our next asana is going to be revolved fierce posture. So this would be a good opportunity to place both of your blocks at a tall setting just outside your heels. Much like fierce posture, be sure that your big toes are connected, so as we bend our knees, we can hug our thighs together. Inhale as you sit, the arms lift up overhead. Exhale, stay seated as you twist, bring your left elbow outside of your right knee, and then turn the belly as you gaze over your right shoulder. Okay, if you have your blocks nearby, you may be able to reach your left hand for your block, or maybe just the earth, as long as the arm stays outside of the knee. And then from there, right arm extending into the sky. This will take a little bit of the stress out of the thighs and definitely help you to rotate a bit further. 3. Pulling the left hip back as your heart reaches forward for 2. Last exhalation. And then fall forward, head to knees, let it dangle. You lengthen as you inhale. Savor the forward fold. Roll the weight toward the toes. All the way up we go with a straight spine. Lift your arms into the sky. Exhaling, arms by your sides. Bend your knees. Sit into the hips as you inhale, the arms reach high. Hands to heart center, right elbow outside of left knee. Stage 1, drawing the heart up toward the thumbs. Stage 2, reach your right hand for your block or for the earth as you extend your left arm up into the sky, radiating through your arms to help widen the collarbones apart. Low back is breathing. Belly is turning. Sit your hips a little lower. 3, 2, final exhale. Folding forward. Find that little vinyasa. Long spine inhale. Melt down, head to knees. Good. Shake your head out a little. Yes. Shake it out. No. Now those blocks that you have beside you, we're going to reposition. So go ahead and take both of them, still at their tall setting, and step them about 12 inches in front of you, most likely off of your yoga mat. From there then, rising up to tall. Surya Namaskar B. Bend your knees, inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, folding forward, head to legs. And lengthen your spine out fully as you fill with your breath. Step or hop your way back, lowering with control, push through those heels. Cobra or upward dog with a smile. Roll over your toes for downward. Lifting your right leg, take a nice deep breath in, and then step forward on your exhalation as you drop your back heel. Warrior 1, rise with the breath, and vinyasa, hands back down. The right foot steps back, reaching through heels. Cobra or up dog, fill yourself up. Downward facing, inhale lifts the left leg. Exhale, set your foundation as you plant your back heel. Warrior one, hips are low, face is soft. Vinyasa, hands back down, transitioning to downward facing dog. Reconnecting through the inner margins of your hands as the shoulder blades widen away from your spine. This is kind of counterintuitive as we push down and in through the palms, yet at the same time roll the shoulders away. But in time, with patience and practice, these two contour movements will become a little more natural. As you conclude your exhalation, looking forward between the hands, step or hop your way there, long spine, folding your way down, roll the weight into the toes. Bend your knees for fierce posture. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, straightening up, arms by your sides. Now we'll use Surya Namaskar B as a transition into our next posture. Once more, bending knees. Inhale, Utkatasana, draw the upper body back. Exhale, fold. Lengthen your spine out fully with the inhalation to step or hop your way back, lowering with control. Cobra, up dog, what makes you smile the most? Downward facing. Drawing the right leg up into the heavens with an inhale, pull back. Exhale, take your time as you step forward. Setting the foundation for warrior one, lift up, reach your arms into the sky above. Fold forward, hinging so much so to place your hands on your two blocks as you disengage your back foot, step off into the right leg, lifting into space. So to begin, effectively, you're in a supported version of warrior three. We have the upper body parallel with the earth, as are the hips. And in order to better keep the hips fixed in place, we're gonna flex our foot and we're gonna turn the inner thigh toward the ceiling. Okay, for stage one, as you keep your eyes on the floor, you can bring your right hand to your right hip, breathing into that deep stretch on the outside of your right waist. Stage two, begin turning your belly to the right, looking at the side wall as you continue to move your heart away from your right hip so the torso lengthens. And then if you can still smile at yourself, you might be able to lift that right arm up into the sky and maybe even turn your gaze toward the ceiling. And that right hip is really gonna get a lot of the sensation, so be sure that the leg is still strong, knee and thigh still lifting. 2 more breath cycles. Breathing through the back, shifting the back of your skull to the wall behind you. Last exhale. First, place your right hand on your block, returning to center. Then, shifting the weight into your foot, step all the way back to warrior one. Dig that heel as you sweep the arms up overhead. Vinyasa, hands down as you transition into your flow. Take a moment to notice probably the obvious difference between your two hips. And then moving toward balance. Lifting left leg, inhale, draw back, exhale, step. Plant the back heel for warrior one, the arms sweep up into the heavens. Hinging forward, leaning forward, place your hands on your block, disengaging the right foot to hover in space. Stage one, we have the torso parallel with the earth and a strongly flexed foot to keep our hips neutral as left hand is placed upon left hip. Stage two, beginning to turn the belly as you gaze to the side wall, focusing on the tummy doing the work of that rotation. And then if you can easily see the ceiling above you, then you're welcome to lift your left arm up into the sky, but don't get too caught up in that final variation. Much like revolve triangle, this is just the last little piece of the puzzle. You should be feeling quite a bit already on that outer hip. Breathe, not just strength into your standing leg, but also space. Imagine your pelvis was growing lighter and lighter, lifting off of the left thigh bone. 3 more cycles. Keep your breath calm. And then replacing the left hand upon the block, step all the way back. Once you dig that right heel into the earth, inhale your arms up overhead. Exhaling, vinyasa, whether that means stepping straight back to dog or dropping through chaturanga. Fill yourself up fully as you draw your heart forward. And then over those 10 toes to downward facing dog. Once more, acknowledge the sensation within your hips, noticing the similarities and the differences. And we'll shortcut into a wide-legged forward fold. So simply drawing the right leg up into the sky with an inhale, step forward into a long lunge. Sweeping your hands around to the left side of the mat, straighten both of the legs, and make your second toes parallel to one another. Now beginning with a twist, place your left palm directly beneath your sternum. That's the bone at the center of your rib cage. Inhale, stretch your crown forward, your hips back. And then as you exhale, placing the right hand on the right hip, begin to twist. If the ceiling is visible, right arm extending. And once you get that extension of the right arm up into the sky, really reach up through your fingers to help you not only anchor your shoulder blades down your back, but to help you open the chest forward. Okay, there's going to be a tendency for you to shift your weight. Do your best to keep it equal between your 2 feet. Just 2 more exhales. Tummy's turning. Your belly button is motivated to point up toward the ceiling. And with an inhale, release. Okay, lengthen your spine, hands shoulder width. Fall forward, exhale. Re-lengthen your spine. Placing the right hand beneath the sternum, left hand to waist. On an exhale, initiate your twist. Now staying put, or of course, extending that left arm into the sky if it comes naturally. So be careful not to over twist. You're not trying to reach your left arm behind you, you're just trying to touch the ceiling. And the more you can stretch up into the heavens, the more it will open the upper body and help to move you into that spiral. Last out breath, twisting as far as you'll comfortably go, and then hands down. Opening them shoulder width, lengthen your spine as you roll the weight into the forefeet. Bend your elbows and bow. Prasarita Padottanasana A. So you can start walking your hands back until they are perhaps in line with your feet. But although the tips of your fingers may one day be in line with the tips of your toes, your hands should still remain shoulder width from left to right. Gently push into your palms to help you move your shoulder blades toward the ceiling. 2 more exhales. Straighten the arms with your inhalation, lengthening your spine. Swing back to the front of your mat. Downward dog direct or vinyasa, moving through your flow with your breath to wipe your slate clean. Garudasana, eagle. Looking up between your hands, step or lightly hop to the top of your mat. Lengthen yourself out fully. Take all that length into your forward fold, crown to toes. Inhale, rising, reach the arms high. Exhale, right elbow beneath left elbow, twisting into eagle gesture. As we bend our knees, try to sit as low as possible. For the lower you go, the easier it's going to be for you to take your right thigh up, over, and then eventually hooking that foot behind the calf. Not important. If the foot doesn't hook, just point your toes toward the back edge of your mat. Stabilize yourself within the posture by squeezing your inner thighs together and relaxing your outer hips. From there then, lower tummy moves in and up, so your heart goes back, stacking the spine tall upon the foundation of your hips. Calm, equal breath as you sit just a little low. The inhale lifts you back up, feet together, arms reaching high. Left elbow beneath right, or modifying by grabbing shoulders. Bend your knees, sit low, taking left thigh up and over to cross the legs, and maybe one day hook the foot. Within Garudasana, The forearms will bisect your face, making it a little more challenging to gaze out into the distance, but this is, in fact, one of the benefits of this posture. Let the focus of your eyes soften, no longer gazing at anything in particular, and pay a little more attention to that internal landscape. Last exhale, let your thighs hug, and then inhale, rise up, arms overhead, hands back to heart center. You settle. One last standing posture. So we'll be shifting the weight back into the left leg once more. As we do so, placing hands on hips, draw your right knee up to the height of your waist. Flexing the foot, creating a nice 90-degree angle between your hip, knee, and your ankle. Take your left hand over top, grabbing the underside of your knee from the outside of your leg. Get as tall as you can with your first breath, and now begin to turn your belly to the right. Get taller, turn your ribs. Taller, turn your gaze. Don't look down, for that's the direction you'll go. Instead, keep your eyes on the horizon. And if you're looking toward that wall at the back of the room, then maybe you'd like to extend the right arm out, reaching your fingertips to the wall behind you as you radiate in two opposite directions. Softening the face for 3. Now, as you conclude your exhale, bring your gaze forward and slowly let go. Good. Hands back to the hips, transferring the weight into your right side. Inhale, left knee floats to hip height. So you're crossing over top of the thigh to grab the underside of the knee from the outside. Push tall through your spine, and then turn the belly. When the belly gets taller, turn your ribs. Taller still, eyes on the horizon, settling the gaze at the wall behind you, potentially extending the left arm long. So your balance is a coordination of your core, the center of your body, and its connection with the earth. So from your hips, feel yourself planting down through that strong standing leg. Keep the breath even and deliberate. Last exhalation, use the inhale, bring your gaze back to center, and release. All right, let's wipe our slates clean. Push through those feet to rise, pull the hips back, dive down, head to legs. Long spine, open heart, bend your knees to step or hop your way back with control. Take it down. Inhale, heart really drawn forward as the toes reach back. Exhale, downward facing dog. Get the most of this breath. Lengthening the spine as you fill, melting the heart toward the thighs as you empty. Drop down onto your knees. Draw your hips back, lower your forehead and elbows to the earth in Balasana, child's pose. Just one full breath cycle. Now, walking your hands back in nice and slow. Sitting up tall, first upon your feet. And then we're going to drop our hips over to the right side. So once you sit off right, take your left ankle, lift it up, and place it on the instep of your right foot. Now you're going to find you're kind of falling over to the right side. So grab hold of your right hip, lift it off the floor, pull it out to the side, and then sit it back down. Okay, if you're really falling, you can always tuck a little bit of a blanket or a small pillow underneath your right waist. So the left hand crosses over to the right knee. Right hand reaches back behind the right hip. As you get tall with this first inhalation, try to draw your left hip, that one that's lifting, toward the earth, and then rotating the belly, gaze toward the wall behind you. Now with this particular twist, you're going to find that the low back may not feel quite as stable as some of the ones you're more familiar with. So this means you have to place more of the emphasis on the action of the belly and not just go for it. Okay, only turn as far as the obliques on the sides of the belly will let you. Give it one more exhale using the belly and the belly alone. And then inhale back to center. So all we have to do is switching over, swing the hips through center and then off left. Once you sit off to the left side, take your right ankle and place it into the instep of your left foot. Reaching over, grab your left hip, pull it off of the floor, roll it out to the side, and then sit your way back down. Right hand to left knee, left hand behind you. Draw the weight toward your right hip as you get tall, and then turning the belly in Bharadvajasana. Breathing into that full rotation. Keeping the crown lifted with every inhale. Last complete out breath, that'll be your deepest twist. And then returning to center. Once you return to center, simply straighten both of your legs out before you. A little wiggle side to side, untuck the flesh of the bum to get yourself rooted. And then place your hands beside your hip sockets, palms flat on the floor. Dandasana, staff posture. Inhaling tall, lift through your crown. Exhaling strong, flex your feet, push your thighs down into the floor with a lot of energy and try to lift your heels off of the mat. But don't lean back. If you're starting to lean back, you're just cheating. Keep that upper body vertical. If the heels lift, great. If they don't, just as good. Last 3. Inner thighs pushing to earth. Really feel that contraction, that effort. 2. And 1. Good. Cross the shins, roll over your feet, step or bounce your way back for your vinyasa. Upper back strong as the neck lengthens forward. Returning to sit, step or lightly hop, land on your hips. Once you land, step your right foot over top of your left knee. Then, bending the left leg, bring that heel outside of your right waist for half king of fishes. And the left elbow can simply hug around the right knee as your right hand steps out behind you by about 6 inches. Tall as could be first, and then turning your belly, gaze over the right shoulder. So now the arms are involved quite a bit more in this posture, but not so much to twist you. Okay, the left arm, whether you're hugging the knee with your elbow or you've got it wedged outside in that stop sign position, is strongly pushing your right knee across to the opposite side of your mat. Okay, this is going to help you to create more of the stretch on the outer hip. Better still, imagine your right sitting bone is moving down and forward toward the front edge of your mat as your belly turns you further. One more complete exhale, last little bit of spiral. And then inhaling back to center, grab hold of your right foot and draw it outside of your left hip, stacking your knees up in Gomukhasana, head of the cow posture. Now, if this particular leg variation does not work for your hips or your knees, roll way back, kick your left leg out in front of you, and then sit back down. Taking the hands out about the width of your mat. With an inhale, pull back on the fingertips to help you straighten your spine. Then start to walk your hands forward until you hit that stretch in the hips and the low back, wherever that may be. The eyes fall to the earth, and gravity, if you'll let it, can take over. Two more exhalations, allowing the back of your heart to lead you into the stretch. And then we'll take a nice smooth transition into our vinyasa. So as you inhale, grow tall, walking the hands back in. Exhaling, kicking your legs straight out before you. Cross those shins, roll forward, and as you plant the palms, inhale to step or hop your way back. Exhale, descend. Slow breath, cobra or up dog. Exhale to downward, return to your seat, step or lightly hop. As the legs go straight, step your left leg over top, standing the foot beside the knee. Bend the right leg, bringing the heel outside your left waist. Ardha Matsyendrasana. So left elbow reaches behind you as the right elbow hugs the knee. Get yourself tall, and then turning to your capacity. And there's lots of alternate arm variations for this particular pose, so whichever one really feels the most gratifying tonight, you're welcome to practice. Regardless of where the arms are positioned, feel that left belly pushing back. Feel the right belly guiding your navel past your thigh. One more quality exhale in King of Fishes. And then as you undo the twist, grab your left foot, draw it to the pinky toe side, and pull that heel in to the outside of your right waist for Gomukhasana. Remember to modify, all you have to do is straighten your right leg. Hands out wide, draw back to get tall, and then start to walk it forward as you melt down over your thighs. Now, if you're finding that your hips are lifting off of the floor a little bit, not a big problem, but a little bit of imagination here can be helpful. Visualizing your tailbone and your sitting bones tucking back and down so that they may one day reconnect will help you to get there much more quickly. Last exhale. Inhaling, rising up. Exhale, release, straighten your legs out before you. And then cross your shins. Inhale, roll forward, plant your palms to step or bounce. Reach through those heels on the exhale to descend or lift your hips up high to dog. All right, returning to seated from downward dog, take the weight into the palms, bend your knees, light through the hips, step or hop to sit. Send your two legs straight out before you. Marichasana C. Bending the right knee, pull the right heel in as close to your hip as you can possibly get it. So different from our earlier twist, we're keeping the right foot on the inside of the standing leg. In this case, that would be our left leg, which is our anchor. Take your left elbow now to hook around the knee. Placing the right hand behind you, get tall with the inhale, and then begin to turn through the exhale. Stage 2, wedging your left elbow outside of the knee, reach your fingertips up into the sky, shifting into what we'll consider our stop sign position. Now once you get that reach of the fingers into the sky, anchor your shoulder down and try to find a little more turn through your tummy. Left leg strong, the standing leg is anchoring you as you keep the foot flexed for 3. You're really bringing out the internal organs here for 2. With an exhale, that'll be your deepest twist. Inhale, center, straighten the legs. Exhale, cross the shins, jump back and lower. Fill yourself up fully, expand the tops of your lungs in your back bend. Over the toes, downward dog, step or hop back to sit. Once the legs straighten, pull left heel in close to the hip. Elbow hooks around the knee as the left hand lands in line with your spine. Be careful not to lean into that back hand too much as we grow tall, and then begin turning. And once we settle into that fundamental twist, we can bring the right elbow outside of the knee, pressing the tricep of the arm against the leg as we find a little more twist, motivated by now the right shoulder. Breathing into your back, but also getting that full body expansion. Feel the ribs opening laterally. the rise and fall of the collarbones, and even the expansion of the breath in the backs of your lungs, beneath your shoulder blades. Last exhale, really finish off the twist fully. Inhaling back to center, straighten your legs. Exhaling, cross your shins, bounce back, lower. Cobra or upward facing dog, the heart drawn forward, downward facing, over the toes. Gazing up between your hands, step or lightly hop your way to the top of the mat to sit. You take your block or your books and shift it halfway back on the mat as you then lay yourself down. So bending your two knees in, bring the soles of your feet flat on the floor as close to your hips as you can get them, while still keeping them hip width. Okay, you can always check as you reach your fingertips down to graze your heels. You should see that they're just about right in line with the outside of your waist. You start to walk your shoulders under a little bit toward the spine until your floating ribs puff up. And then we're going to do this posture dynamically 3 times. So just warming initially. Push down through your inner wrists, through your shoulders, relax your neck. Ground your heels down and forward, and from the tip of your tailbone, with an inhale, scoop and lift your hips away from the earth. Exhale, round back down, upper back, middle back, hips and tail. Tucking with the inhale, rise up, keep the knees hip width, draw your heart over your crown. Exhale, round down. One more time dynamically, tuck the tail, inhale, smoothly lift. Exhale, vertebra by vertebra, fluidly descend. And this time, supporting our bridge. Inhale, tuck the tail, lift your hips away. Grab a hold of your block and slide it underneath your sacrum in the highest possible setting you can manage tonight, while still keeping your heels on the floor. And let the wrists gently ground into the earth as the inner arms press toward the earth beneath you. Now breathing into the back of your hips primarily. So it may be really difficult for you to send the breath consciously into your low back and into your hips, especially the back of the hips. Don't worry too much about the rib cage for now, and isolate the inhalations right where the block is pressing. And once you get a sense of the breath expanding through your sacrum, then you can let it climb into the belly, into the heart. But without a feeling of change and release through the sacrum, there's a lot that you'll be missing out on. So take the time for these last few breath cycles that we have. Try to release the back of the pelvis and that space just behind the kidneys. Walk your feet a little further forward. Yeah, good. This will be our last breath cycle. So once you've concluded your exhale, ground your heels and shoulders. Inhale, lift your hips enough to remove your block carefully, and then round your spine back down. Bring the two knees in toward the chest, give yourself a hug. And then wipe your slate clean. Roll back with an inhale to the shoulders. Exhale over your feet to step or hop your way back, either flowing or transitioning to downward dog directly. Looking up between your hands, step or lightly hop to sit. So the two legs straight, and then bending your right knee. Draw the heel in toward your groin as the knee falls open, and then open the right hip out to the side even wider. So your thigh bones are open broader than 90 degrees. That's why. Left elbow to left thigh. As you reach your right arm straight up into the sky with an inhale. Exhale, turning the arms so the tricep is guided toward your face and the palm pointed at the earth. Now, as you arch laterally over your left leg, you'll get that lengthening through your belly and your back on the right side. Imagine the right hip sitting more deeply for 3. Roll the right ribs back for 2. When you exhale, look at the earth. Inhale, right arm pulls you up to center. Foot straighten the 2 legs out before you. This time, bending the left knee. Pull the heel in toward the groin, dropping it open to the side. and then opening the left thigh out wider than 90 degrees to find that oblique angle. Right elbow to right thigh, lifting left arm into the sky. Exhale, turning tricep toward the face to help widen your shoulder off of your spine. Now, if you cannot see the ceiling underneath your left arm, then you're dropping too far into the pose for now. So you can always scoot that elbow closer in toward your hip to lift up higher. If on the other hand, you can drop lower, you're welcome to bring your elbow to the mat. Or maybe one day reach both hands out to grab your right foot. Just 2 more breaths. When you conclude that exhale, look down. Inhale, pull yourself back up. Straighten the left leg out in front of you, flexing both of the feet. Sweep up high, arms overhead. Grab your belt, your big toes, your ankles, your knees. Longer spine. Fill yourself up fully as you flex your feet. And then elbows wide as you drop your gaze between your shins. Length, far more important than straight knees or ever getting your face to your shins. With every inhalation, feel yourself reaching through the heart. With every exhalation, let the posture change. Let the connective tissue melt. Shoulders releasing away from ears as the spine grows long through the space between them. Two more exhalations, pushing the inner thighs toward the earth for these last few breaths, if you're not already. And then with a straight spine, rise up, arms overhead. Exhale, releasing. Grab your knees, bend them into the chest, and then open them out sideways for bound angle posture, Baddha Konasana. Interlacing the fingers around your feet, draw back to lift your spine up tall. Exhale, elbows to the back wall as you straighten the spine forward. Dropping the eyes to the mat beyond your toes. And breath by breath, feeling your thigh bones radiate out sideways, touching the right wall with your right knee, the left wall with your left knee. Last 3. Elbows are shaving the ribs, drawing in close for 2. Shoulders are hugging against the spine as your nose reaches to the earth. Let the back round, let your head fall. Then, 1 vertebra at a time, build your way back up. Take the hands on the knees, close them up like a book. Reach around your shins as you hug, the feet just lightly lift off of the floor. Cross those legs, rolling over your feet. Last vinyasa, step or hop your way back, reach through those heels. Cobra or upward dog, twist the inner thighs toward the ceiling, downward facing dog. Looking up between your hands, step or lightly hop to sit with an inhale, and then roll down onto your spine with the exhale. Knees drawn in close, give yourself a gentle hug. So stretching your 2 legs out long upon the floor. We're going to go ahead and stretch our right leg straight up into the heavens. Reaching up, you can grab a hold of your big toe with your index and middle finger, or just interlace your fingers behind your hamstrings or your calf, thoughtful to avoid the knee. Drawing the straightened right leg in, right in line with your rib cage and shoulder. Keep the eyes on the big toe. Breathe a big old smile into the back of that thigh. Last exhale. Bend your knee, turn your shin parallel to your chest for thread the needle, lifting your left knee up to your right ankle. So now that you have this triangle space between your legs, reach the right arm through and interlace your fingers around your hamstrings initially, your shin eventually. Feet are flexed, and then slowly pull that left knee in toward your left shoulder. The two hips, as best as possible, should sink equally toward the earth. The two hips, as best as possible, should equally reach away from your two shoulders. Last exhalation. Now just simply drop your left foot to the floor, keeping the legs how they are for now. Then cross the right thigh over top. Eagle gesture legs, arms out at your sides, pull the knees in toward your heart with an inhale, drop them toward your left elbow on the exhale. Looking out over the right side, into your palm or just out toward the side wall. Breathe as much as you can into your right gluteal muscle and the low back on the right side. Too much movement through your belly here will signify that you're not bringing enough awareness into that corset action, which will help to motivate the breath where we need it in the back body. Breathing into that deep spiral as you feel everything releasing. When you conclude this exhalation, bring your head back. Inhale the knees. Undo your legs, reaching around the shins. Give yourself a little squeeze to center the hips once more. And then leg stretch long. Inhale, floats the left leg into the sky to grab your big toe, your belt, your calf, or your hamstrings. You will notice I said nothing about your knee. If you grab your knee, it's going to bend your leg, and that will lessen the stretch that we're trying to create. So just do your best to find a position above or below. Breath by breath, sending the inhalations into the underside of the thigh, while straightening your standing leg, the right in this instance. Last exhale. And then bending your leg, turn the shin toward your chest as the right knee lifts up to the left ankle. By flexing both of your feet here, but in particular the left foot, this is going to protect the knee as we start to move into our stretch. So once you caught a hold of your hamstrings or your shin, start to bring right knee to right shoulder while sinking hips down and reaching hips forward. Your head should be softly resting upon the floor. Final exhale. Dropping the right foot to the mat, slide the left thigh over top. Reaching your arms out at shoulder height, knees to heart with an inhale, and then exhale over toward your right elbow. Looking out to the left side of the room, find a single point for your eyes to settle, and then focus your attention back on what you're feeling, and how you're breathing. And if you can even, noticing the distractions that bubble up to the surface. As you come to the end of an exhale, return your head. Inhaling, lift your knees, undo the cross of the legs, and one last time, reach around and give yourself a squeeze. Shavasana. Stretching your legs out long and open, wider than your hips. Okay, for most, just dropping the feet out to the mat's edge will be adequate space between the two feet. Then any rocking or rolling you need to do, adjusting your hips and letting the feet fall away from center. And likewise, let your palms turn so that they face upwards, creating greater space through the chest as the shoulder blades can more easily walk down away from the ears. When all of those obvious movements are taken care of, let your chin finally drop just a millimeter closer to your chest. Unclench your teeth as you allow the roof of your mouth to expand and relax. Soften your sinuses at the bridge of your nose. And feel the backs of your eyes melting down into your skull. Open your ears. And imagine that you could feel the frontal regions of your brain softening, sinking. Tethering yourself once more to the movement of your breath, but being careful to not manipulate or control that rhythm. Put enough effort in to return to the breath every time you become distracted, and to stay with the breath for as long as you can without creating tension or conflict. When distractions arise, just smile at yourself. Don't berate yourself. Don't become frustrated or impatient. Every individual's mind within this practice will stray and drift. It's part of being a human being. The distractions are unavoidable, but how we relate to them, how we treat ourselves when we encounter them, really defines our practice. So every distraction is just another opportunity to smile at yourself. And it's another opportunity to come back, to reconnect with your point of focus. And in this way, breath after breath, we return to that most authentic version of ourselves. Breath after breath, beginning your practice anew. first with the deepening of your inhales. As the breath grows, so should your connection to the body. Wiggling fingers and wiggling toes, enlivening your arms and legs. And then as you feel adequately reconnected, bring those legs together and long. Reach your arms up overhead. And as you point your feet, stretching out through your fingers and your toes with an inhale. On the exhale, bring the knees back in, reach around and give yourself a little hug. Rolling to your left side, use the strength of your arms and begin slowly pushing your way up into a comfortable seated posture. Once you arrive at tall, allow the weight to settle back into your sitting bones while the crown of the head lifts, light, rising into space. Take your palms together at the center of your chest and let your chin drop forward just a little as you turn your body into an inwardly focused posture. Acknowledge the effect of your practice on your body, your breath, and your mind. And then thank yourself for that practice. And then of course, it's always a helpful reminder not to just find that gratitude for ourselves, but to remember all those around us that support us in our daily lives. Friends, family members, acquaintances, and even those people that antagonize us. So one more offering of gratitude, reaching that feeling outwards to whoever it is in your life that's lifted you up today. As always, we are honored that you would share your practices with us. Namaste.